Welcome to the Mechanical Room. A Centrotherm production focusing on all things in and around the HVAC industry. And now, your hosts, Michael Sakaris and Matthew Price.
Welcome back to the Mechanical Room. Our friend Efren has put down that lubricant for a moment here to chat with us here on the podcast, so thank you for that, sir. I know we couldn't pry that out of your hands.
Yes.
Let's talk about even just today, right? I want to talk about a bunch of stuff, but we just took the tour here at Centrotherm.
That's right.
Give me your impressions of the facility here.
Well, I also think it's important that today's episode is brought to you by Centrotherm, okay? Your number one trusted solution in Centrotherm lube. So,
Thank you.
yes.
Appreciate it.
Cut.
We're gonna make our budget number on lubricant sales now, so
That's right.
I appreciate
Yes,
that.
yes.
So
This is my favorite, by the way.
it is a good one. It's water-based. There's a lot of applications for it, not just necessarily lubing up your gaskets and what have you.
Yeah,
so,
I
but
got a lot of gaskets that get married, so.
So, excellent. All right, now
but to get back to your point,
matter
yes.
at hand. So we did our director of operations, TJ, walked us through all of the gear and all that sort of stuff. You were asking some interesting questions of him, and you saw some stuff. I'm assuming the first time you've seen a plastic extruder. Give me your impressions of the facility. What did you learn? What did you see?
Well, the problem is, where do I start? Like from the second that I walked in here, I felt not only welcome, but at home too. And so I think you guys did a great job at introducing everyone to us, and we got a formal introduction to everybody here at the factory. Everyone was so personable. Everyone was so nice.
We love guests.
Had a nice little story, you
Yeah.
know? So it's also nice to see your tenured employees being able to give positive experiences, so that's cool too.
They're part of the tour. I mean, there is a zoo exhibit element to the tour. It's not just the gear. It's all the people in the various cages around and whatnot. The monkey house,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
reptile kingdom,
Yes.
etc. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, I'm actually more confused. So I'm not a technical guy, but you know about stuff. You were asking
little bit.
technical questions. So I'm really curious to get your thoughts on plastic melting and manufacturing processes and stuff like that.
So I think one of the questions that I had asked TJ was, how do you guys optimize the design of the floor? I know this is a super boring question. Nobody that I can think of is probably going to be interested in knowing the answer to that. However, I was, because I live a life of trying to optimize my life.
Sure.
If I could brush my teeth in the shower to save 5 minutes, like, how cool is that, right? Or maybe just make it more efficient, or be warm in a cold morning.
Yeah,
So-
well, I think more people than you think are interested in that type of thing.
Maybe.
I mean, we're in a very technical industry.
Yeah.
So, and not everybody gets to see facilities and stuff like that. So I don't think it's a bad question. Actually, I think people would probably be curious about that type of thing.
And another thing too is, like, for me, I'm just starting my career. Like, I'm trying to grow my career, my life, and leave a legacy. In order
Grow
for
your
me
mustache?
To do that, yes, my mustache is a huge thing as well. We'll get to that here in a little bit. But yeah, in order for me to best achieve my goals, it's important for me to probe the people who have the most amount of information, who have already made critical decisions, such as Centrotherm.
That's where the lube comes in helpful when you're probing those people.
That's right.
These word choices, you're leaving it. We did not write that. We did not script that. So, but go. I'm sorry. Go on.
What was my line again? Yeah, no, that's but yeah, that's where it all comes down to is trying to optimize my life, and in order to, for me to get to what my point B is, from point A to point B, it's important for me to try to take the shortcut and learn from people who've already done it.
Awesome. Speaking about learning from people, you work with Ben. Tell us a little bit about your tactical biography. How'd you meet this fella? How did you become involved with tactical? How do you guys work together on a day-to-day basis? I know I've taken some phone calls where you've been driving and he's been passenger, and we're all chatting and whatnot. But I'm curious about the day-to-day back in Texas as well as your journey to being part of the HVAC Tactical family.
Yeah, so it's definitely very fluid, which is something that is attractive to me.
Water-based fluid? No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, no, my position at HVAC Tactical is very fluid, and it's attractive to me. If we're in a constant theme that's just recirculating, I get super bored of it, so being in a fluid position is nice for me.
So rattle off a few things that you do then, because I mean, I really like that metaphor, let's say. A lot of people would be very bored doing the same thing over and over again, so you get to do different things.
Yes.
Like
yes.
what?
Okay, so something that's near and dear to my heart is working out into the field and getting up in attics. I know some people don't like them. I like them right now. It's probably a matter of time till
Even
I don't
in
like
like
them.
August?
Yeah, even in August, like breaking a sweat just feels good every once in a while, and I can't see myself doing it 24 hours a day. I know my employers wish I could.
So, well, sometimes you get those calls on Friday night and you're out there at midnight, what have you. We were just talking about that.
Yeah, we were just talking about that. So that's the less desirable times of working, in HVAC. And,
Sure.
you're trying to appease your customers, and what that means is you got to sacrifice your time a little bit to make sure that they're happy and that they're willing to call you back.
It's a service business.
That's
you know,
right.
I mean, you have the technical knowledge as well as your learning, but I mean, that's almost a guarantee. You have to have that.
Yeah.
What sets you guys apart, and what I know sets Ben apart, is the understanding and the humanitarian elements of it all that make you good at service and engender trust with the customers and make them, they're the people that you call, they'll call you again kind of thing.
Yeah.
Sorry, that was like a horribly phrased situation, but I think you know what I'm talking about.
I'm not judging you. I know Centrotherm is sponsoring this episode, so I'm trying to make this as seamless.
It's very, very smooth.
That's right.
Yes, very, very smooth. So in addition to out in the field, which I know that you're doing and learning all that sort of stuff,
Yeah.
when last I saw you, not in New Jersey at the studio, it was at the awards where you were also helping out. I'm curious to get your impression of the awards. Now, you've been to how many?
I've been to 2.
You've been to 2.
Formally 2.
Okay, and you're always helping. You're a helping hand over there too. So I mean, do you get to enjoy it at all?
I say that I would enjoy it differently than most. I enjoy seeing the final product and everything moving smoothly, and when things don't move smoothly, I don't enjoy it. And so it makes me happy to see other people have smiles on their faces rather than me having a smile on my face.
So
on my face.
I'm curious.
Like
I bet you if you polled most of the attendees, everybody would, by and large, say it's always been great. I've been to, I think, this will be my 3rd or my 4th. I'm not sure. I'd have to think about it. And everybody usually has a glowing, response to it, and everybody's happy, everybody's all together, whatnot. I'm curious about the snafus that you're referring to. Like, what's a weird thing or an unplanned thing that happened one time at the awards that you can think of?
I think there's too many to name.
Well, nobody's noticed. I'll say that because I feel like I'm kind of I know how the awards go together, and it doesn't seem like there's been too many hiccups along the way.
Yeah, we try our best to try hiding all the hiccups as much as possible, and I can't say that I'm a part of every single one of them. Other people have their responsibilities that they do a really good job in hiding it and making things as seamless as possible. For me, I would say that when it comes to something as large as the award show, I play more of a support role. So if something did fall, if something did require attention, like I'm already
You're just
on
on it.
I was on it yesterday.
Awesome. Yeah, and that's why we love you, man. So
Thanks.
It's interesting. So the awards is always a very good collective of the top people, right? And we you and I both look up to Ben. We we love the brand and what he does and all that sort of stuff too. Mr. Pooley, the one and only, right? So let's leave him out of this.
Okay.
Because obviously I think he'd be the number 1 answer on this question. But I'm curious because now you're in this industry and you get to rub elbows with a who's who, especially at the awards. I'm curious about some other folks that you look up to and that inspire you, maybe do professional work or are kind and professional people that you've got to meet or even that you haven't met.
Yeah. So I'll say for a very long time, when I first started my career in HVAC, Brian Orr was a huge influence in my career. He was always real tech savvy, real technical, and those were some of the things that I already kind of leaned into to begin with. I was very analytical. I would see things through and through. And so his programs really helped elevate my skill.
So his content, so you were digesting his content and learning from it.
And how can you beat free content that isn't only good but is by far world class? Yeah. I would argue, and so it's hard to rival that.
Okay, that's awesome. So rattle off a few more names.
Okay, another one that helped me was let me see. Oh, when I met Adam. Wolf of HVAC.
Oh.
Yes. Very different personality to me. And that was crucial to my growth, I think. It's important for me to understand and learn from people who are different than me and see life differently than I do and see the trade differently than I do.
Yeah.
And implementing their view and kind of merging it with mine only grows your vision for the trade. And that's kind of where HVAC Visionaries came from. It's like we all came from different backgrounds and we all want the same future. So how do we do that? We just merge each other's ideas, and that's how that
perfect.
came.
I'm a big fan of Adam myself. Adam's a great guy, and I only got to meet him at the awards, and he's very friendly, and I believe we put him in the magazine. Or he's a couple of times he's appeared. I think there was a photo of him and Ash from RT.
That's right.
Together. So that actually leads in nicely to the next thing that I wanted to talk about, which is tell us about HVAC Visionaries. What is that? Who is it? What do you guys do? What's the plan? How do you guys fit into this whole Megillah here?
Yeah, I'd be happy to expand on that.
Yeah,
so
please
there's a huge grand plan that I've written down. It's just difficult to execute, and so part of the reason is
like most grand ideas, easier than said than done. This is something that Ben and I talk about all the time. Ideas is not the issue; it's the execution.
Yeah.
So
I have the same 24 hours in a day that you have in a 24-hour day, and so
it's not enough.
It's not enough. It's not enough. At the end of the day, I don't know how many times I can say day. There's only so much that I can do and attribute my time, and for me to not only grow my HVAC career, but also help out on the HVAC Tactical side of things and the growth of HVAC Tactical. Now I want to find a third thing and put HVAC Visionaries into it. So it's hard to find that balance of attributing equal time and trying to see where I'm going to get the most value out of my time. I think at the end of the day, I'd like to see my plan come to fruition with HVAC Visionaries. I think that there's a lot of potential there, and hopefully working closely with HVAC Tactical could help grow that, facilitate that.
And what is that plan?
So I think at the end of the day, the final goal for HVAC Visionaries is to help grow the future of the HVAC industry through education, through exciting people who have no idea that the HVAC trade exists, to finally see that as a sufficient means of growing yourself and growing your.
So it's a bit of a recruitment thing, a little bit. You're trying to bring more people to the trades,
yes,
a little bit at least.
Yeah. So there's plenty of statistics that you can look at that are going to tell you that more people, especially veterans, are leaving the trade than people coming in, and the people that are actually coming in are as green as can be. No Centrotherm, pun intended, but yes, they're very green. They don't know much. There's not a whole lot of capability to them, and so at the end of the day, when you take a look at that, you start to see that there's a lot of potential when you have someone who is excited to learn and excited to use their brain and their hands and also make a lot of money or have a lot of earning potential. There's a lot of people out in the trade that make really, really good money, who own businesses and do it all ethically, and are very successful because of that. And if you can share that, a lot of people see these exciting jobs and exciting careers only because they're on television, such as lawyers, being a doctor, and stuff like that. These are all glamorized. Instagram model. These are all glamorized industries, and so nobody wants to look at the HVAC industry or being a plumber or electrician and see that as capability for me actually making a lot of money and living a good life.
Yeah, well, I think HVAC Tactical and HVAC Visionaries is helping to change that, along with other professionals out there who are showing that, one, you can have fun, two, you can make a great life for yourself, three, it's a learning process always and very rewarding to do so. Many of these folks who are the top professionals really are focused on the service element, the happy customers, people living comfortable lives, bringing things like literally like heating the house. People don't understand how how actually physical HVAC is in people's life. If it's cold and you need a furnace installed and now your family is warm, like who did that?
Yeah, let's think about that for a second. I feel, and maybe this is an extremist point of view, but I feel like HVAC could be considered somewhat of an emergency service.
I think I would agree.
Think about the summers in Texas. Anybody who's been in a summer in Texas with no air conditioning, it's almost life-threatening. Especially if you have
can
kids,
be if you have asthma or something like that,
kids,
or
young babies,
really anything. And of course,
The same would be true in a cold weather environment.
Yeah, and of course, hospitals, old
Hospitals?
folks' homes, schools, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, I only say that because I'm in the residential field, but yeah, in the commercial and industrial, those are huge deals as well.
Yeah, they are. I mean, HVAC is obviously a life safety and an industry that most definitely is ubiquitous without people even really knowing it. People just assume that it's warm inside, or assume that they can step in and the air is conditioned, or the hot water works, or you have electricity, or any of the other, the toilet flushes, etc. All the trades. It's not just HVAC, it's plumbing, it's electricity, it's
That's right.
All of that stuff as well. So I mean, is it so then just to harken back to HVAC Visionaries? Is it safe to say that you guys are almost like cheerleaders for all of that, and I don't mean that in any pejorative way. I mean, are you supporters and advocates for it? And that's really maybe the main overarching thing is educating people about what it is, and showing really not even the underbelly, the overbelly of HVAC. I don't even know if that's a real word, but we're gonna go with it.
I'll take it as a word. I love my Bushisms.
So is that really kind of the main sort of point of HVAC Visionaries?
Yeah. One of the biggest things that I intend on tackling at some point is getting into high schools and middle schools and educating kids who are unbeknownst to the world of HVAC, and show them the opportunities that exist. And so that's where I feel like it is the most valuable, is middle schools and high schools, when you can plant
Get
the
them
seed.
while they're young, right?
Yeah, and it's true. It's true.
The groomer over here, right?
But it's true. When you can facilitate. For me, when I was in high school, I was only taught to go to college or I'm gonna fail.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's true, and I didn't like being told what to do.
Sure.
And so because of that, I went left instead of going right like everybody else did.
Understood.
And for me, I feel like I made a pretty good decision going left. I'm enjoying the life that I'm having right now. Maybe it could have been better had I gone to college. I don't know. And that's not to downplay the resourcefulness of college. There's a lot of benefit to it. But while I took a semester, I didn't see any value in it. And so that's why I got into the field.
Well, it is a rich tapestry here, and everybody has a different path. And we are all here because people need to be warm, be cool, et cetera, et cetera. So, I mean, we all play our small part in this industry. So, all right, we're almost through here. I have one last interesting question for you.
I got a question for you, Tim.
Oh, all right, let's do that.
No.
No, give it to me.
Let's ask yours first.
Well,
I'm not gonna forget mine.
So, I'm curious. Ooh, I'm knocking everything over here.
Take a look at the HVAC Tactical Magazine.
Yes,
at
please.
HVACtactical.com.
That's it. A co-sponsor here, the lubricant and the magazine. Different kind of magazine usually goes with this, but never mind. So you're here in New York, the Big Apple. I'm just, what's a standout memory that you're going to take back to the Lone Star State with you?
A lot. There's
Excellent.
A lot.
Well, this wasn't a one-off question. Please rattle off a list.
Okay. So the most recent, as of right now, is the train ride over here.
Okay.
I've always seen Amtrak being a pretty attractive way of transportation. And being in a train for 3 hours was really cool. Pros and cons, but super comfortable. I felt like it was really nice. The view coming over here was insane.
Yeah,
there's no way of downplaying that at all.
Maybe the Hudson River that's probably a top 5 river in the United States, right? Mississippi, Rio Grande.
I haven't been on the Mississippi. I've been on the Rio Grande.
So I don't know, Colorado River. I don't know. Maybe that's about all the St. Lawrence River.
Yeah.
This turned into a geography lesson real fast.
Geography is not my strong suit.
So the train ride, okay, that's awesome. I mean, people really do rave about that. There is a lot of amazing foliage, and truly, so you're along the Hudson River. It's beautiful when you go in the fall, and
I can't imagine the winter.
You know,
Oh
I mean,
my
or
goodness,
like little snowscapes,
yeah.
or the autumn when the leaves are turning. I mean, this is a pretty big tourist area for that type of thing.
Yeah.
So the train, that's one that's interesting, or rather, that's actually kind of a boring answer. So what else? What else is attractive about New York that you, or rather, memories you'll take home with you about your time here? Because you've been here for about a week now.
Yes.
You've got around, so Metro New Jersey, Manhattan, we're in upstate New York here, so you got around a little bit.
Yes. So this isn't my first time up here in the Big Apple. I will say the last time that I was up here, it was slightly different. I felt like it was more chaotic several years back than it is currently. For better or for worse. Okay. I enjoyed my time.
What year?
I can't remember the year exactly.
You said it was like 2017, 2018, right? Or was it?
No, it's much earlier than that.
Oh, okay.
If I had to guess, probably 2010,
Okay.
maybe.
So you were a kid then?
Yeah, I was.
Okay, that's a
I was
whole
getting-
different experience. So
Yes.
coming up here, you go to, I don't know, Sesame on Ice at MSG. It's a little bit
Yeah.
different than being an adult here. And
Yes, yes. But nonetheless, I feel like it was very chaotic. My parents agreed that it was very chaotic. Also, the people at the time were very rude around here in the city, and I didn't have that experience this time. I feel like everyone that we've interacted with has been fairly nice, fairly helpful, and offered just great advice, great solutions, and helped us solve our problems. For example, our struggle, we almost missed the train this morning over here, and we wouldn't have known had we not interacted with a local.
Sure.
So-
The Amtrak terminal area is slightly different than the rest of the Penn Station area, so you have to go find it. And
Yeah.
I do believe it's a bit of a stereotype that doesn't really hold up to muster, that New Yorkers are like assholes or something like that. It's a fast-paced city.
is.
People certainly can keep to themselves, and that can be perceptible as being aloof or standoffish even, but usually it's just that they have an agenda of their own, and let me walk quickly to where I need to go.
Yeah.
There's an interesting comparison that I read the other day that made me kind of laugh, which because I think it's kind of true about like kind of like California and New York,
Sure.
right? Where people in Los Angeles, and no offense to our our friends out there in California,
All offense from me.
So people in California are they're nice, but they're not kind.
Yeah.
And people in New York are not nice, but they are kind. It's the kind of person who curse at you as they help you dig your car out of the
Yeah.
snow.
Yeah.
Like that kind of thing is like sort of a New Yorker attitude, because there is a very much a New York is a giant melting pot, one of the most diverse cities
Yeah.
on the globe,
Hands
and truly like the capital of the world in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
And I mean, that just means that there's a spectrum of everything that can happen happens in New York. And that's good and bad, of course.
yeah.
And for my money, it's one of the top places to go.
I
so
agree.
I'm glad you had a good time.
Yes.
Got some pizza.
Yes.
You got you got a bagel this morning here.
It was delicious.
So you're
I was told it wasn't the best, but it's the best that I've had.
well, I'm glad. That was an upstate New York bagel. It's not quite like getting it somewhere in Brooklyn, but we'll make do with what we can.
Sure.
So I'm glad that you had a good time over there. Okay, so that's all I got for you.
Okay.
What was your question for me?
All right, one question. So you're an editor of the HVAC Tactical Magazine.
I am.
Okay. Maybe you guys have the same question. I know I do. What do you find is the most stressful portion of the HVAC Tactical Magazine as being one of the editors? And what do you find as the most rewarding thing being one of the editors?
So nothing about it is particularly stressful, quite frankly.
Oh, there's got to be one thing. Just
so
make something up.
there's elements that are tedious, I suppose, but that's not really stressful because this is such a good team that I work with, and so let me go with the first part of it.
Sure.
Working with Ben, working with G, working with Zach, working with Dan Vashtian, all of the people who contribute have all been super kind and generous, and I don't have a bad word to say about anybody who's been involved with any of this sort of stuff. And that's what makes it not stressful to work on it at all. So, deadlines are what they are. If I had to pick one sort of annoying thing, it's that manufacturers that are not Centrotherm, people who don't have professionals like Jordan Newman over there,
Yeah.
they don't know how to send their ads in with the correct dimensions, and that's a little bit of a frustration. But other than that, that's a quick one. That's a quick fix to add us. So and people have learned and gotten better at it as well. So I've said this to Ben, and maybe you were a part of that conversation about how each episode has gotten easier than the last, and that's because when we hit the ground running, we improve each time, and every time we try to eliminate those extra little steps that were stressful in the last edition, let's say. So some of these advertisements are now fixed, and where there used to be a little bit of editing work now flops right in there, right? Or people are getting used to it, right? The back cover of the upcoming episode was just a tiny little bit off. And all we did was make a phone call, Ben did, or send an email, I'm not quite sure, to Navac, and it was like, hey, we need you to knock this up just like a couple pixels to hit the page, and like they did it in the day or something like that, and boom, it was it. Didn't have any, it was no stress, it was well before the deadline and all that sort of stuff. So,
Yeah.
the core team here, Ben and Gianna and me, are all pretty laid back.
Yeah.
And there's no ego between any of us, and we're all pitching in and helping each other. So there's not really been any contention really of any kind. It's not been stressful. It's always a lot of work, but that's expected.
Sure.
And but it's not the kind of thing where we're under the gun, where I'm not going gray because of this. It's other stuff that's causing that, right? This is actually, I'm very happy to open up that file and make the edits and make it better each edition.
Yeah.
And that's what's happening now. Is everyone has been better than the last, and that is the upward trajectory that I hope to continue in perpetuity till this thing is a HVAC Tactical Global. We have one in Italian and one in French and all this other stuff. Sky's the limit, right? So
yeah, I like that.
So that I really don't have a good answer for that question.
I feel like that was
maybe a good answer would be, we haven't hit the real stress point yet because everything's been pretty smooth sailing now. So hopefully we have some problems in the future that are like good problems, uptown problems, that it's because it's grown so much that we have to now answer something that we hadn't even considered in the past. Yeah. So as of now, don't really have a specific thing to point to. I have lots and lots of good things to point to.
Okay.
And I'm excited for the future of it. We were kicking around cover ideas for future episodes, maybe the Visionaries, at some point on there. So
we gotta do something first.
Right now, everything has been really, really smooth sailing, and I mean it's in part because of Ben's leadership and the good team that we've got, and the support of the industry, with all of the great personalities who are willing to contribute, want to be on the cover, want to be a part of it, just in whatever capacity they are. Even in just in reading it, picking it up at the wholesaler, and saying that you like it, and is so rewarding.
Okay, well then I will revisit this question 5-10 years down the road.
Perfect. Let's do that.
When we got 30 editors.
I want to see that one, man. I hope I have a better answer for you. Just being like, I don't know how to spend these millions anymore. God, it stresses me out. I don't know which car to take in the morning. That would be the goal, right?
That's right. That's right. Cheers to that.
Awesome. Well, Efren, thank you for joining us here in the mechanical room. I'm glad you came to New York. This has been fabulous.
Thank you for having me.
We'll see you down at SeaWorld. I think will be the next time I see you.
Yes, sir. That's right. Appreciate it.